The parasha, the reading for Tisah, is dominated, of course, by the golden calf episode. That Moses is up on the mountain, still up on the mountain, hasn't come back. The people, whoever the people were, gathered round and said, this guy's been away for so long, he must be dead, and we need somebody to lead us. Well, that's not quite what they said. They said, we want a god to replace him. We want a symbol to replace him. And they turned to Aaron, and Aaron then, according to one version, with great reluctance, for fear of his life, according to another version, to try to appease them, creates this golden calf. Interesting that they chose an image that would symbolize paganism throughout the Canaanite period. And then, as soon as they've made this image, the people gather and they say, this is our God who has taken us out of Egypt. Well, that's very strange. It wasn't. They just made it. What were they thinking when they said, this was our God that took us out of Egypt? There are several ways of looking at what we mean by the golden calf. One of them is to say that this was pure paganism. Paganism was attractive. Paganism was worshipping the gods of the physical world through our physical being, which is why much of the pagan world was involved in temple prostitution, in people coming and giving of themselves to God as the greatest gift that they could possibly do. It was a world where your celebrations were orgies without discipline, without control. And what monotheism wanted was to enjoy life, but to enjoy life in a controlled manner, and to understand that there was a non-physical force in this world, not just the physical force. So this was, if you like, a reversion to a more primitive state of people who were not capable of moving on to the higher state. There are others who say, no, these were just, if you like, the Erev Rav, that mixed multitude of people. When Israel left Egypt, they allowed all the political refugees and anybody who wanted to get out, or any immigrants who wanted to improve their lot, to come along with them. And they were the people who missed this form of worship and this paganism. But there's another way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is this. The truth is, we all make gods for ourselves. What do we mean by that? We mean the most important thing in our lives, the most driving aspect of how we live our lives. There are people who make ambition, success, money, public recognition, whatever it is, the thing that drives them more than anything else, as opposed to truth, as opposed to spirituality and a relationship with God and being a good human being. And so what the sin of the golden calf then was, which is as relevant today as it was then, is that we make alien gods for ourselves. We allow ourselves to be deluded that money, power, position are the things that really matter. They have a role and they have a function. They're not intrinsically bad. They only become bad when they overrule and override everything else, when the material world, or keeping up with the Joneses, or whatever it is, dominates your life. Moses' role was to teach. We call him Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe our teacher. He wasn't a God substitute. He wanted us to understand that the Constitution was the most important thing, Torah. And here we have an incident of people who simply weren't able to accept it. And this whole incident is teaching us that we mustn't make pagan or alien or modern gods for ourselves that distract us from the true values of what Torah demands of us. And those people who get caught up in it, it doesn't matter who they are. They can be the highest. They can be rabbis. Rabbis are as susceptible as anyone else to all the temptations of life, whatever they are, and they make mistakes the way everybody else does. We mustn't worship them. We mustn't think they are superhumans, and we mustn't make gods of them either.